Come on. There we go. Jesus Christ in a hamburger. All right. We are.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm ready to
Does that
start.
sound good to you?
We're good.
9, I think that's all right. Ladies and gentlemen,
You know the joint was jumping.
going round and round.
Yeah, reeling and rocking.
What a crazy sound.
And they
Next
never
one.
stop rocking at the sacred ground.
Okay.
All right.
It's the real line is until the moon.
Good
went down.
evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and
Speak for
other
yourself.
aliens.
Thank you for that.
Sacred's intro checklist. 1. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Welcome to Sacred Grounds with Dan Brady as the current host of this, the longest running open mic in the known, unknown, and strange universe. Serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972. Please support the reading by enjoying food and drink served here. Give Teddy a hand. 2. Poetry of all kinds, ladies and gents, is welcome. But we ask you to respect the mic. Don't kick it, don't jump on it, don't throw it at your neighbor. Keep conversations to a whisper. Scrape chairs along the ground, put phones on mute or vibrate, and throw things at your neighbor. No, and do not distract the speakers or pass in front of the amplifiers or continue talking loudly while I'm talking.
Hello.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Remember, keep to the time limit,
I almost
which is 4 or 5 minutes, because we have 2 shows, the 7-ish, the 8:40-ish,
Good afternoon.
and the ish-ish. And going well,
David, I can't
Yeah.
hear you because somebody has
Roberto,
over here.
Robert, be quiet, please.
I am.
If you need to talk, you can go outside, it's fine. But I need to talk not above you, please.
All right, go.
Thank you.
My name is Fernando, not Robert.
Hernando, quiet.
Thank you. All right, go.
Quiet, everybody. Do you hear that?
I'll wait.
Just go.
Are you done?
I don't know. All right.
Remember, keep to the time limit, which is 4 or 5 minutes, because we have 2 shows, the 7-ish, the 8:40-ish, and going long cuts someone else's time. We get everyone on the mic,
We're trying to.
Sacred's longest standing tradition. If you want to be in a loop,
Nope.
go to Chicago or Kansas City or maybe, LA.
No.
We've been up. No, don't go any of those places. Stay right here. We've been opt-in email lists. See one of the hosts at Facebook, a Facebook page, and we stream live downstream thanks to the Natch, Mr. Natural. See the URL on the wall. See it there. You can view in from home. Family or friends can see you live or later on. Out back. If you want to hear so-and-so's poem again, why, you can. If you want to hear a now's poem again, well, you can.
Can.
Want to do a self-critique? You liar. If you really want to.
I'm
well,
sitting.
you can.
I'm not lying.
And it is a way to put out the word yours, ours, mine, seconds, minutes, and just eons.
Yeehaw!
Ongoing theme. Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing it ever has, said Margaret Mead.
Yep.
The evening's thing is creatures that fly. Flying creatures. Thank
Or get
you.
all picky about that.
Also, next week's feature will be
Let me find that here, please. Next week's feature. Our own Antoinette and Buford will be
Ooh.
co-features.
the
next
Antoinette
week. So,
Buford co-feature.
Co-feature. They will be up there, and we will be here.
The keynote is Owen Dunkel.
Yes.
Our
I think-
feature is
Oh, wait, no.
Martin.
Yes, Owen Dunkel is the keynote. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm ahead
And
of
the
you on
feature
that.
is Martin Joseph.
Martin Joseph.
Right. Thank you so
Who will
much.
give the Queen's wave.
And
As to the second show, the last word will be,
The curse-
man, if you missed that show yesterday, you missed a hot show. The Cursive Writer gave at 14:28.
Hey.
The Hey.
yes.
The mini feature is
mini feature.
Rob.
And
And we have fabulous door prizes. We have
I'm
a
gonna
door
just-
stop We have a door handle. We
And a
have a
thing.
panel
Okay.
that
So,
meets outside on Thursdays. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. So this is The Tiger and Other Tales by Jack Foley. I've read this. It's really nice. A lot of good pieces in there. I have another copy of this. Allow me to. I don't know. National Geographic World on the Move. The Bohemians, Mark Twain, and the San Francisco Writers, The Invented American Literature. It's a really great book. And The Diary of Virginia Woolf. No, she doesn't tell you the story. So, and there's a couple other things here. Randy Waldman, Unreal, and things of that nature. There are also the non-book door prizes. Being a co-pilot, as we have here, these two individuals, stellar as they are. Keynote starts the evening off with Plum That's Not Theirs. Choosing the theme. Who chose? I think Hal chose the thing,
Yes,
Flying Creatures.
me.
Was it you chose?
I did.
Yes, Flying Creatures. And then the mini feature, 8 minutes in the second half. The last word starts and ends the last show. And another co-pilot. I have two of them. And someone will be. We'll probably have someone be a timer after a minute, so then we can organize.
I'll do
everything.
these timing.
David,
All right.
David, did you read?
Be advised, although we record the evening, if an audience member wishes to do so, please ask permission. We'll assume you've done so. And you can join me, and we can all write National Geographic and ask for an equal time for white breasts. They've had so many black breasts in there. I think we should have, National Geographic should have equal time for white breasts.
Yes.
I ain't talking about chicken either.
David, did
Yes.
you read the part about turning off your electronic
Device?
devices that might be making sounds so that people don't have to talk?
Turn
about them?
off your electronic devices that might be making sounds because you are interrupting the microphone. Thank you.
Oh my God, my phone is still on. Jesus, what shall I do?
I don't think you can call Jesus, but Moses is available.
Ah, he knows everything. All right. So,
National Geographic shows what-
Mr. Owen Dunkel is our keynote of the evening. Give him a round of applause as he comes forward. And we'll get this thing started. Thank you so much for being here. You're having had as much fun as I am. You're having as much fun as I thought I might have. I'll start that over again later.
Because you'll be having more fun.
Yes, we'll have even.
More fun.
Don't move the mic, please. We got the,
Yeah.
I'll lower it.
Yeah, there we go, perfect.
We gotta keep you in
There we
focus
go.
here, brother.
There we go.
Nice.
Hit it.
Ding.
Okay, thank you. I've chosen Wallace Stevens.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's one poem, Disillusionment of 10 o'clock. The houses are haunted by white nightgowns. None are green or purple with green rings, or green with yellow rings, or yellow with blue rings. None are strange with socks of lace and beaded ceintures. People are not going to dream of baboons and periwinkles. Only here and there an old sailor, drunk and asleep in his boots, catches tigers in red weather. Domination of black. At night by the fire, the colors of the bushes and of the fallen leaves repeating themselves turned in the room like the leaves themselves turning in the wind. Yes, but the color of heavy hemlocks came striding, and I remember the cry of the peacocks. The color of their tails were like the leaves themselves, turning in the wind and the twilight wind. They swept over the room, just as they flew from the boughs of the hemlocks down to the ground. I heard them cry, the peacocks. Was the cry against the twilight or against the leaves themselves, turning in the wind, turning as the flames turned in the fire, turning as the tails of the peacocks turned in the loud fire, loud as the hemlocks, full of the cry of the peacocks? Or was it a cry against the hemlocks? Out of the window I saw how the planets gathered, like the leaves themselves turning in the wind. I saw how the night came striding like the color of the heavy hemlocks. I felt afraid, and I remembered the cry of the peacocks. Metaphors of a Magnifico. 20 men crossing the bridge into a village are 20 bridges into 20 villages. Or one man crossing a single bridge into a village. This is an old song that will not declare itself. 20 men crossing a bridge into a village, or 20 men crossing a bridge into a village. That will not declare itself, yet is certain his meaning. The boots of the men clump on the boards of the bridge. The first white wall of the village rises through fruit trees. Or was it that I was thinking? So the meaning escapes. The first white wall of the village, the fruit trees. The indigo glass in the grass. Which is real, this fall of indigo glass in the grass, or the bench with the pot of geraniums, the stained mattress, and the washed overalls drying in the sun? Which of these truly contains the world? Neither one nor the two together. The snowman. One must have a mind of winter to regard the frost in the boughs of the pine trees crusted with snow, and have been cold a long time to behold the junipers shagged with ice, the spruces rough in the distant glitter of the January sun, and not to think of any misery in the sound of the wind, in the sound of a few leaves, which is the sound of the land full of the same wind that is blowing in the same bare place for the listener who listens in the snow and nothing himself, beholds nothing that is not there and the nothing that is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Owen. Good vote.
Molly?
Sally and then
Carl.
Carl. Okay. Sally loves songs. Give her a nice round.
You all inspired me big time, and I've been writing all this stuff, so I wanted to come back and share it with you. I was pregnant with this poem, and a friend said to me, write it out, write it out. So I did, I wrote it. Just, it's very fresh, still has afterbirth.
Do you want the mic? Do you want the mic?
What?
Do you
Some
want the
people are having a
mic?
hard time hearing you.
Do you want the
Oh.
mic?
Oh, do I need the mic?
Yeah, please.
What do you want me to do?
Just stay there. There we go. Just get close. That's all.
Very busy beaver me. Very full-time body maintenance work. I'm feeling like the very busy beaver at Brown Ledge Camp, whose whole existence was plugging up holes in the potentially declining lake. If it wasn't for all his plugging up leaks with logs, the sinking lake would have disappeared. So here I am, busy, going to doctors, doing exercises, trying to eat healthy, flossing, to keep the lake of me full and alive. Busy beaver am I, plugging up the holes of the sinking lake. Branches twisted like saltwater taffy. Taffy twirled branches. Spun around. Branches legs up. Big piece here, big piece there. Exotic skinny dancer. Branches standing on its fingers with ballerina sculpted bodies. Remembering thinking and thinking, what will I be when I grow up? Would dream and rehearse in great detail, a Broadway star or mother of 6. Now I'm all grown up being 80. What do I have to look forward to when I'm more grown up? A knee replacement ordeal with an endless roll of recovery? One doctor says twice a day for 2 weeks. My physical therapist says every day do these exercises. Dentist says floss teeth. So many orders. When is there time to just have time to do as I please?
Ah.
I want to read you some I wrote up at the Redwoods. The Redwoods, sitting in front of the fireplace. Sitting in front of the fireplace, enjoying watching the fire dance and eating the wood. Fire in fireplace dancing like thin, tall ballerinas reaching high. On tiptoes with satin shawls, swirling while beautiful music perfumes the air. And fire flames reach up high and dance leaning on the logs. Flying hair, blue breath, fire singing chants to the air. While heat of the fire beats, howling of fire motion, as if a coyote calling to the wild. Redwood tree standing. Redwood tree standing with dancer tights and frilly ballerina costume and lacy and fabric design. Stage light adding dramatic effect. Silence in the auditorium of Redwood Grove. The crow announcing beginning of the concert. We wait. The crow announces. In the Redwoods. I've lost all track of time. I always do up here.
What do you got to do?
What?
She wants to know her time.
You have a minute and a half.
Oh, okay. In the Redwoods. Spotlight, sun spotlight pointing on ferns that are outstretched and performing around another bend. Stage lights on, showing dashing fern ballerinas. Fern carpeted floor. Fern carpeted floor, exquisitely shaped branches stretching up and out as if doing exercises, all seem as though decorated by a brilliant prize-winning interior decorator. String sun on bushes. String sun on bushes makes fingers of bushes look soft and fluffy. But I'm sure if I opened up and fell on its open arms, they would be prickly and hurt, and I'd bleed.
30 seconds.
River flowing briskly as if pedestrian in Manhattan rush hour. I stand on the side wondering if I should join the creative energy and write my poetry or stay on the shore and write on creativity juices. So for a change, I stay on the shore, dry shore, and not spin my poetry for now. This sort of feels good, but tomorrow I must pick up pen again and flow where the creativity waters and write. Have a little hustle holiday. Thank you.
And then,
After Carl is Owen.
There you go. Where'd you go?
Thank you.
thank you.
I'm gonna sit down for that. Thank you. Okay, so this is kind of related to the flying thing. Actually, I don't think it ever flew, but it's got a bird name. Okay, how's that?
Yeah, there you go.
Fine.
All right, so, yeah, and I apologize for my horrible ballad last week. This one's much more entertaining, I think. It's related to the Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett. And it's this ballad about an imaginary character, Floyd Thursby. I don't know if anybody remembers Floyd Thursby.
Much better.
Okay, I'll work the mic, I promise.
Please.
This is a ballad, so you have to imagine the music and the bluegrass fill between each verse. That's up to you. But it goes, if you listen to me, mister, a story I will tell about Floyd, a traveling stranger, and Corinne, his southern belle. It was in old San Francisco, a dark and foggy night. He ended up in an alley, never put up a fight. A hard-boiled dick approached him in a manner awfully rude. The strangest thing of all is they killed him over food. He just came from New Orleans with a pretty little friend. When he goes out for a sandwich, he goes to meet his end. When Dundee checked his pockets, the only thing he found was an order for a muffalata warmed up in a sourdough round. Now Corinne is lost and lonely, but she'll fly home someday. Now she gets by selling Thursbies in the city by the bay. That's a muffalata sandwich. A little bit more. Thank you for that. The rest goes like this. She sells herself some evenings when a John she meets seems right. But when the toss is over, she remembers Thursby night. From the corner in New Orleans, Napoleon House you see, and Central Market in the Garden District, Floyd had stole the recipe. While others chase black fortune, though the lesson learned was tough, what Thursby had invented was the San Francisco muff. So if you want a tasty sandwich, the best you've ever seen, you can order hot and cold ones from a place they call Milk Bean. But if you want his muffalata, and brother, here's the point, then you have to place your order for your food at Thursby's joint. And in the this is supposed to be modulated up a note, but I don't have a guitar or anything, so you just have to use your imagination. And in the final reckoning, Floyd Thursby's ghost did win when they found that rotten DA in a vat of bathtub gin. Thank you very much. And, I apologize to Teddy for advertising Milk Bean, but they are a great place for a sandwich. But Teddy's sandwiches are really actually better than the great sandwiches over there. Woo. And don't forget to put a tip in the tip jar, because that's what makes all this stuff actually happen. And thank you very much for your time and indulgence.
After Owen is Britt.
And Owen's coming back because he did the keynote. The keynote always comes back to do their own.
I got it.
All right.
Line them up, brother. Line them up.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, I've had a request for this one. James Liddy, a memoir. James Liddy was a creative writing instructor I took 2 classes from at San Francisco State way back in '68. He was a native of Ireland, County Roscommon, a poet and a barrister. He held classes in a small cottage on Waller Street in The Hague. He liked my work and we became friends. He was honest in his criticism of my poetry. No, Wally, that on an ego trip, he would say of some rivals. Stan Rice, the late Stan Rice, was one of his rivals. I was a pale, goblet stem of a boy. It is my latest poem. Harper's bizarre interlude sustaining wealth. Society intervening, plotting, stealth and circumstances intervening in a mire of rotundas and castles. spires and cathedrals sustaining their interests. Where, why, and where somewhere can I go to please the toil and trough? Enough. Seize the day. Carpe diem in the woods and streams of free verse, broken from the dens of rhyme and quatrains of spirit, poems in the spirit of the Claryhoo, Robert of rhymesters and versifiers, well known. Croatian, after F. Scott Fitzgerald. Into the deep blue sea he dragged an O to be more than he should, more than I or me could score again and again in the birth of a nation of girth and width. Give me more than I and thou could have. The sky was blue and is now gray, going back and forth to and fro. Sick and well, weak and strong. Life goes on and we hope for the best. Stay away from the worst it can give. She, after D.H. Lawrence, came with the wind, half her mind made up. Staff of life, life goes on full of bliss and confidence. Pull away into the moors of depth and jubilation. Poor though I may be, there can be something to me. Pan for love in the street. We have broken free of a sad state of affairs. More and more we used to cry madly, badly, badly. I do what I can to make to hope. Bursting through the fiber of onslaught, the first shove of winter came about like a digging. A shot from the trellises that scattered about the hat of the winded ponies on an island always. Gone, gone are my ways of carefree gadding about in the fog and sunlight, riding like a half-wit in search of heaven and earth, getting off to chat. Deer, park along the tail of night, illumine pale moonlight, ignored as a Valhalla desired. Allah, Allah, sent Aunt Janie at a Christmas party. I bat and tailed one of 3 kids, got myself a bid for the prom, got $5 from relatives, put on and hoof all about town, more than enough in those carefree days. School and church held their own against rock and roll, just to dance.
Thank you, Mr. Owen.
Thank you very much.
And Marco, I just handed him what I call the,
And after Brett is Bob.
it's written out?
Yeah, Britt and then Bob.
Okay. So when you read a poem by somebody else, I give you the attribution sheet so you can let me know who the poet was and the name of the poem, just so you know. Mighty Brit people.
Okay. Justice, okay, you aren't going to throw him out of office. Just make him wear an ankle bracelet. And take away his Sharpie, telephone, Twitter account, and golf clubs. And the proper authorities could get back to prosecuting the double-digit number of cases against him for sexual abuse and rape. Oh, and put a paper shredder behind Nancy's desk for the next time she has to read through and endure his great oratory. Last night, many of us heard Clara Sue read a poem on the tragedy of war by Levi at 1428 Haight Street. The language sounded forceful and direct. This little poem tumbled out during intermission. Levi, the push of Levi's words through the years, the large man, the flowing gown. Have you ever seen the moon sidestep as it rises? Tonight's theme, flying creatures, a little bit of biography. The strange places we've been, the strangeness of still being here now. Down Canal Boulevard toward hell, the concrete caves, the docked ship, the strewn deck, air hoses, lumber piles, chipper noise, welders' flashes, and the amphitheater of the deep tanks. I worked with L.P. Smith. He loved big lunches and dominoes, accomplished stage rigger, bigger than Deacon Jones. 10 years work in a slaughterhouse, shoulders so deep he had trouble pulling coveralls over them. He saved me one night at Willamette Iron and Steel, an unscheduled flight, 43 feet up, no net or mattress below. The flying Walindas had nothing on me. A short flight from the back corner of the tank. Yes, your life does sail before you. Over to the stairwell, where LP grabbed me and locked in. His fingerprints stayed on my skin for a month. That close. Just a week after Ed Brown had gone down in another tank. All in a night's work. Take a little blow and come back the next day. I'm not through with LP yet. More work the next time in the yards. Another rust-red T2 tanker poured into the dry dock. LP and I built a dance floor across the top of the tank in record time. Partners working smoothly together. Chippers and welders could now do their work in a safe environment. Guardrails and solid planks, their parade ground. We kicked back, pleased with ourselves, wondering what task would be offered next to keep the oil industry going and bread on the table. Just then, Little Beaver the Push showed up. You boys can go to the shack now. As sweet a man as bosses ever tend to be. LP smiled and then glanced down at me, uttering quietly, when will I be called a man? Coda, LP Smith knew that song as well or better than Big Bill Brinzy.
Bob Gordon?
Bob Gordon, and then
After Bob is Antoinette.
Antoinette after Bob.
You want to sit?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, let me make it a little lower for you. Watch your cane. Thank you. There you go.
I'm just going to read two poems. They're very erudite in the sense that most of the poem is behind what's in the poem. There are two poems called History of Wrong.
Can you speak into the mic?
History of Wrong.
Thank you.
They're very erudite in the sense that most of the poetry, most of the meaning is behind what's in the poems. Seek Arets, Seikharrets. The stream bellows, the mal a mud, knives through like waves, grass, water grass. Out, unlike heightening, white Yosef in the forest of black offers you trees, a look to few too many women. I have heard pa and brother, listen never, so young as we all are, God they say loves me too, they say but what do we believe? The name of the poem is The Brief Book on Life. Long hair reminds, yes we remain to go, but love stays, keep collared Denise, and summer fingers paint will picture you. Soft sun of my lights, walk through paradise, my garden. And the poem is called What Will Be to Future. And then there's a note beneath it, all my children need not protect what I project. And it's signed Massenet. jewels.
Thank you.
And now Antoinette, give her a nice round as she comes up. And Buford after Antoinette. She is the one of next week's features. Yes, am I not correct?
You are.
She and Buford will be featured.
Woman labors behind closed doors. Pain floats upheld in pale blue pitcher like cream, thick, rich. Each minute shifts further from cozy 9 months. Breath holds deep long moans, calling him out like siren song over vast seas. She sings him real, takes his time, soft pink body, cries separate life into being. This is called white foam. White foam carries oceans to shore, traffic matches roar. 68 years old, reading 8 books at once, I cannot die yet. Breathe salt air, ruffled. Summer solstice energy expanding like heat rising to top floor. Remember when time had no end? Now it's different every morning, every night, every minute. Days tumble over themselves, imaginary lines, meridians, and tapestry. Every grain of sand holds my life. Winter solstice, lunar vibes press inward. Conversation is such an effort.
Yes.
Tears bubble up under tiny green eyes, roll hot down face, throat clenched, depth unknown, cause unclaimed, each need, wish, utterance blocked as vile. She left the baby before it could be said, just gone in deep dark blue oceans, solid water breaking emergence, an attendant to needs not her own, basks in solitude's reprieve, still stuffing laments. Self-restrict advice or criticism, try for questions. Then I silence the world, run on fewer senses, take hearing off the table. It's hard to be with someone while silent in solitude. Gentle winds bend down overhead cypress branch, shiny eucalyptus glitters, cloudless summer solstice sky, people plan at the park with their dogs. Without sound, crushed tiny white daisies stand up when we walk away. A day in the life of Brisket. Brisket, Gentile goatee, white furry beard, conjoined Jewish beefcakes, break bammels underfoot. Slime akin to warble juice hovers just under live radar. Acid rain quenches yearning, affections crucified. Intimacy extends inward, deep wells of dark double over everlasting search for poignant pillow talk. We eat apart, do not walk united, neither sit nor read ensemble, but together we sleep always. Drugs, sex, and rock and roll. Just be friendly, knowing most people are good, even the ones that like not being good, like worshiping Satan. Some of those people could be good. Although I can't believe that, I am sorry I even said it. I take it back. There is good and evil in the world. Both exist. Like the time I was curious about the devil, I took out library books. They sat in the corner. Then I met a woman who lived next door. She had been just diagnosed with cerebral palsy. Her mother lived in a building with a pool. We went for a swim there. I met a man in the elevator on my way to the pool. After a bit, I left with him to his apartment, a small, dark space. He had the tiniest penis ever, told me that my green eyes belonged to the tribe, sisters and brothers of the power of darkness. He worked his thrust and hands and words on me. When he got up to pee, I got dressed, took nothing and left. I wanted to take his blue-stemmed glassware.
Take what you want.
Buford.
Mr. Buford Bunton. Be honorable and be reasonable.
And after Buford is Guy.
Yeah, I'm a little taller than her, not much. Creature feature. Creature feature. People. Feeble. Wide slide. Interaction. Faction. This is called You Very Spiritual. You Very Spiritual. Carry the course and miracles to the tub with you. Pour in tub salts. Run the water generously. I am underneath your spell. You both spiritual and mystical. You rub off some of the needs and evidences of your life. I want to say lives, for it feels as though you've had more than one. I'm still working on this one of my own. You've settled now, and your candles, one of which I've given you as a Christmas present, sink deeply, except for that great brain-filled head of yours that curls thick and exact. Your cute dog, Curly, stirred slightly on your sofa, me in your light. There's another dog poem. I can't help it. Cindy. Cindy waits on the sofa for me to walk her outside. Curly fur hair sticks out a bit at the top of her ears. Cindy, the poodle doggy, waits for me to take her into the outside Haight-Ashbury world. Light shining in the kitchen, refrigerator operation, noise, tub, bath, and process. Cindy licks her fur, then moves closer to me, her paws coming up into my thigh. Hot tea will have to wait. Cindy wants to go outside.
Priorities.
Guy and then David E.
Well, Guy, who is coming up?
All right.
A scholar. A scholar.
A stellar scholar.
Might want to wait till you accuse me of that. Moving parts. Body parts, auto parts, broken parts, parts in labor, parts in assembly, parts car, story parts, ram parts, flying parts, parts on the bench, parts on the floor. Extra parts, missing parts, parts missing, parts of work, working parts, parts that don't. Parts in stock, parts on back order, looking for parts, parts of a puzzle, parts of a play, speaking parts, parts tell a story, parts of the day. Parts in, parts out, waiting for parts, part of the time. New parts, used parts, spare parts, out of parts. A parts part, parts we got, parts we don't, parts down the middle, parts on the side, parts of your poem, parts of mine. Parts fit together, parts of the time. What the fuck, over? Sitting around on a floating cloud with a handful of millionaire hippies, talks turns to heated toilet seats and bidets with adjustable sprays and blow dryer to dry what hairs are down there? And I'm drifting away, tuning them out while waiting for dinner to be served, and then microdosing comes up, and dried up stories of dried up trips others have taken and insist that I hear, listening to someone naked on a rock by a stream, communing with a water sprite for answers, and now I think, what the fuck, over? My thoughts on one bank of the Rubicon, polite silence on the other, my head floating downstream, me realizing once again, I'm where I don't want to be. Listening to some shit I don't want to hear. Turning down offers to use the bidet, though I'd have to get in line, me saying, nah, I'm good. Turning down offers to go to Burning Man when I fucking live at La Playa every day without drugs or naked people or sand in my eyes, but hoping I don't have to hear the dreaded fucking stories, like watching the slideshows of my neighbor's spiritual awakening vacation to the North Pole or some pole, not my pole. You know, I'm thinking about red geraniums and fog and how someone else's answers are so beside the point, whatever the point may be. A harmless enigma, perhaps, as Umberto thought, who perhaps said it to a water sprite who might have been me, and how we're all just making this shit up, which is cool. And so this absurd talk is funny and only deadly pathetic when taken seriously and on an empty stomach, I see. But I can smell the curry practically taste the samosas, and so I respectfully sip the single malt scotch and polish off their curry when dinner is at last served, and help myself to seconds agreeing to a microdose of ice cream as part of my spiritual development. And then, because I still have questions, call it a lack of faith, or maybe the munchies, I help myself to another dose of ice cream, and that's when I have my epiphany, and a door opens, revealing the point of it all. My point, because we make it up as we go along, including the ice cream, which is usually homemade, but tonight is Trader Joe's, a store I never go to, but maybe should, except I don't believe in should, rarely trust would, but am in fact a believer in ice cream as a form of gastric, if not spiritual enlightenment, a disciple of Sundays, a congregation of hot fudge, a follower of banana splits, the least of which is an ecstasy of sorts. And I think of that hot seat bidet with its attachments, all the bells and whistles, and I'm like, nah, why pee in a bowl when I can pee off a cloud? So I become a flying creature, much to my own relief, and I relieve myself in flight. Who the fuck needs a bidet anyway? Not to mention a damn microdose from a millionaire hippie who was so yesterday. What the fuck, over? Roger that.
You? Oh, this is David E, so give him a round of applause, and then Robert can hand your tea, all right? Yes, that's I'm the free radical. That's one of my many monikers. David, how the hell are you?
Well, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. When life gives you cherries, don't complain about the pits. And for my, the mother of my second grandson to be in April, for Nikki Cerniglia, and the way she deals with my ex-wife. Very instructive. Conduct is as important as content. Thank you, Nikki.
Oh, a concise person.
Yeah. The poets, this is for RS. Hey, RS. Thank you. Yeah, you. The poets gathered at 1428, where Masonic crosses hate. The cursive rider blessed the street, where sages smile, musicians meet. Food was tasty creperie. There wisdom sings and words burst free. Now, once a month, this venue plies. We thump the ground and praise the skies. While the future gathers clouds, we challenge fools and speak aloud. And then this morning I woke up with this. War equals rape.
Yeah.
I am the anomaly, the break-in. The break in the line. Break. Broken. Distended, overdrawn, compensation, reparation. Before me, after me, marriage toes the line. In me, it shattered 3 separate times. Responsibilities I've never taken. Bleeding, beating hearts keep breaking. Have I learned why this was so? My ego inflates, so I just don't know. And this is for someone we all know. Shizway Siegel, and this is the theme.
Yes.
Flying creatures? Flying creatures?
Flying creatures.
Flying creatures. Sorry. It's been happening more of late. Go little kid. Never mind. Shizway Siegel, the gathering eagle. She gathers anger in her soup, which changes to heartfelt Mobius loop. Deflect the hatred, transform with ease, bring the faint-hearted to their knees. Consecrated conscience, she can gather brilliance, buzzing bees, or free the children from the cage. Her boundless love transcends this age. If your words are allowed to part, her Valentine will thaw your heart. You cannot budge this solid rock with lies, suspicion, conspiracy, shock. She is the touchstone, the taliswoman, the prayer shawl of transmutation. Shizway. A saxophone of recent climb, 2 centuries turned on a dime. In even measure, bird or prez, train your hawk to read Hafez. Words are absent, tongue is curled, lovers' warning notes are hurled. Substitute for violin, lead the band and give me skin. As consequence of bass and drum, 88s will strike you dumb. Sorry. 88s will strike you dumb. Commedia strings foolish fate, methinks me thoughts stumble of late. European, I'm appearing, African, Ray Charles, George Shearing, heavenly or down to earth. Clouds that chortle. And remember do you remember what spuckle, my word spuckle?
Spuckle, yeah.
Spit, chuckle, spuckle. Clouds that chortle, spuckle, mirth. Encompass all, now circle round, sing, forestall, foretold, foreground. Dime is quartered, nickel penny. Poems? I haven't had it.
Thank you.
And now for Dan Brady, the free radical.
Thank you, ladies and
Otherwise
gentlemen.
known as.
Lock 'em up.
Otherwise known
Am
as.
I ready?
Yeah, you're good.
I'm dead?
You're
Wait a
good.
minute.
There you go.
Okay, there's an issue here.
Everybody, big cheer. First time, Dan Brady.
Okay, so I'll give you a choice of A or B.
B prime.
AB.
High.
Thank you very
It's a
much.
B. It's a B.
All right, so these are all disparate pieces from a long time ago, none of which has no one of them has anything to do with the other 3, okay?
Okay, then fly.
Yes.
Is this A or B?
This is B. Just so you know. A couple of haiku to get started because that's the way to do things. Ready?
Okay.
This is a true story now, just so you know. Well, the cigarette smashed out in the guacamole the morning after. That was a great party, though. And for your sports fans who are haiku fans, you have this 29, 13, 57, 78 haiku.
Been there, done that.
And this is a true story. Pink balloon floats along backyards, one by one, setting dogs to bark. So these are the ones that are old here. No, I'm not going to start with that. I'll start with this. Start with the bad stuff first. Title is It Suits Him. Got that? It suits him. In uniform, hard penis neurosis, retired highway patrolman looks for runaways. That's from a news story. No, not really. And this is in the political vein here. Red, juicy, cannibals, eating meat. This jungle world dog eat dog rat race. Their cancers, revolution, eating them out. Capitalists chewing fatty beef, waiting for the special of the day. Working man hands in rich brown gravy.
Yeah.
And so that's all the gross stuff. This is romance. One hair, light line on the floor, morning, air, window, and sunlight. Her hair follows its shadowy lengths across her shoulders, down, breathing breasts are sleepy, flow easily with their shape. Her palm holds a cross, gold. A poem is the moment that births it. My tongue, the softness of love, the round word of air. It can be said to be a profound sense of description held in silence, but oh, your eyes closed, not even dreaming. I move a lock of your hair, curve it back, around your ear exposed. So this is Easter morning.
Where am I with time?
Oh, Jesus, and a hamburger. Okay, I'll go back so I can. And this is metaphysical in nature. Morning song. Exhausted, fallen away. The lime blossoms give all they can to be with us. So these are for you from the seventh garden. Smell these special limes, fresh from the trees, blessed by the birds whose fleet song taper this summer's eve. Come, walk here with me until Venus rises over these hills. She'll unfold in the heavens as we watch, embroider each flower, and leave a morning song within each drop of dew.
1 minute. All right, here we go.
I love this one. 70 million years old. The fossil shell on the mantle in candles light. Yeah. Another political one here. Worst case scenario. The world given over to lesser gods, all known by name. That was from the Reagan era, for Jesus Christ. Okay, thank you. Oh, what will he do with it? The ant all over the big green grape.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. My mother thanks you, my brother's best friend's uncle, second grade cousin's best friend's
Robert Rubino.
Robert Rubino. Give him a nice round. I love this guy. Give him a big round for that.
To the theme of flying creatures. The Hawk Who Became a Phoenix, an ode to Connie Hawkins, 1942 to 2017. Before Michael Jordan staked out his own rarefied air, defying friends and foes and Isaac Newton, before Julius Erving as Dr. J floated above the fray of elbows whipping around like machetes in fields of sugarcane, before David Thompson earned his nickname Skywalker for above-the-rim special effects better than sci-fi, before a firmly grounded peach basket of a game dramatically changed in attitude and altitude, there lived a swooping, soaring, scoring playground legend as none before, Connie Hawkins, aka the Hawk. But instead of gliding to stardom, the Hawk found only exile. First from college for fixing games he never fixed, no evidence, no witnesses. Then from the NBA by its prejudiced, pious poobahs. The Hawk was forced for years to fly in small-time skies or be locked in the cage of clownish globetrotting. Finally getting his day in court, finally getting on a big-time court, symbolically enough in Phoenix, where his career rose from ashes, an older, wiser Connie Hawkins, also known as the Hawk, swooped and soared and scored his way to all-star acclaim and beyond, into immortality, aka the Basketball Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Wow. Robert Rubino, ladies and gentlemen. More historical perspective. Aha. I'm going to be introducing you now. You know this, don't you?
Yes, I'm back before you now, but only.
Sit down.
Get ready. This is my favorite part, one of my favorite parts of the evening when I get to heap praises upon an individual and all they can do is just listen. Mark Joseph is an interesting individual, many aspects of this person's character. For many years I didn't know he played chess. I play chess, but terribly. You must know this by now, else I would have played you a game and you would have said, oh, you're so terrible. But I found that by accident. He's a teacher, and he works with adults, and it's Monty Python. Name some of the groups that things that do. Monty Python.
Brothers, Billy Crystal, Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, Monty Python, Robin Williams, Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, John Oliver, etc.
Etc. So he takes their comedy and produces a curriculum of humor for individuals, and this is part of his reason for being in life. So he has a great skills there. He's a humanitarian that I have heard stories told about him where he helps people out. He does. He's looking at me like he's blinking. He's blinking. He's
Now they're all going to hit me up.
No, but the thing is, so an individual of caring, of note, of merit, of kindness, of caring, humor, intellectual abilities, a man whose poetry speaks for itself, but I'd rather have him speak than I, since it's his future, not mine. So, a great poet is about to come up. Give him a nice round of applause. Mr. Martin Joseph, for God's sakes, come up here. We're going to have him and then we'll take a break, but I'm speaking in a weird accent, and I don't even know why.
All right, let me make sure I have this the right elevation. There you go. That should be good.
That looks about right.
All right, there you go.
Good evening, Sacred Grounds.
Good evening, Mark.
These are all new except one of them, and they're from a forthcoming book that I'm putting together called Wrapping Up the Decade, which is dedicated to Molly June Parvin, my brilliant granddaughter and a former poet here at the Sacred Grounds Cafe. She read when she was 8 years old, her collection of poetry. So this is the first one. It's called This Is What Is So Confusing. They say that it is so, or have at least seen enough to think of it this way, that a whole star and everything within its domain is sent hurtling out of the galaxy at fantastic speeds. In the whole galaxy, just one that we know of. It once was a twin, and its brother or sister star was eaten by the giant black hole in the center. Luck would have it, the angle was right, and this star was flung with the might of its dying sibling, with the might of the gigantic conscienceless black hole, like a slingshot to infinity, out from the center, and in the fullness of time, out past any of the galaxy itself, into the void of intergalactic space. Now, if I were that star, I might ask of no one in particular, why me? Why not that star over there? That one has Donald Trump on it, for Christ's sake. Why not fling that one into oblivion? Or maybe I'm overreacting. Einstein says that everything is relative, so maybe it isn't me who's traveling at a fantastic speed. Maybe it's all the rest of you. And hey, I've got my solar source. I wasn't really getting much heat from the rest of you anyway. I've got my planets and maybe all the life I need. Sure, you've got Chuck Berry and In-N-Out Burger. But who's to say that on these particular planets we don't have something of our own to value? Perhaps on these planets, cows serve people burgers to each other with talking lettuce, tomatoes, ketchup, and fries. This is the part that confuses me. That there are people clinging to crosses and whatever who are good, who intend good, who actually do good, at least some of the time. And still, there are those who cling to the same things, who create stains that can never be washed away. I cannot condemn the latter without acknowledging the former. We may have Donald Trump, but at least We were not the star that disintegrated inside the black hole, giving the momentum that sent our sibling star screaming into intergalactic voids. And even if we are the ones who are making that journey so far away from anything that might be like us at all, is there another choice but to accept the paradox? Be glad that there is still a solar furnace. Be glad that there is chlorophyll. Be glad that there is ketchup. And yes, if you don't mind so terribly, I think I would like some fries with that. This one is called, I Know Nothing About This Business. Microbes engulfing other microbes, sending out tentacles of exploration, changing the job descriptions of proteins to create a higher life form down at the bottom of the sea. Or is the telephone the new bottom of the sea? Is it the way that our life substances will be subsumed by robot parasites, nanites of intention, unleashed upon the unsuspecting public? Maybe at the bottom of the sea, this produces higher life forms. But I have seen the workings of Congress. I have seen American television, and I do not believe that it works for the good on this level. I know nothing about this business. The con man and the con, the claim jumper who carefully watches the labors of the prospector only to swoop in and kill after the strike is discovered. I know nothing about this business of raising armies of orcs from the shells of what were once people to send them into mindless battle against the living seeds. I only know that the stare down with the soulless Sith happens when you stare is directed at a proxy. Proxy this, proxy that. It does not need to be perfect, just good enough to fool some of the people all of the time.
Good enough.
This one is called Dirt Tells Us the Truth. Thailand lava beds obscure an ancient landing spot of a large chunk of space that landed here with such force that it sent pieces of Australasia flying to distant lands. They figured this out from the dirt. The earth heals itself with lava, obscuring events of the past, yet far away and all around, dirt tells us the truth. This is not one of mine. This is from my lovely bride, Carrie Ann Skehan Marshall. It's called Planting Seeds at Buddha's Feet. Seeds planted at Buddha's feet, grow or not, it's up to you. This one is called, I would not vote for you, Joe Biden. I would not vote for you, Joe Biden. I still don't know what you were hiding, or even what color horse you're riding. I'll print you a picture that makes you think back in cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. You hide behind Barack Obama as if he really were your mama. But you do not sing like Wilson Pickett. You were the counterweight on the ticket. You pretend to be liberal, but in reality, you voted with Republicans to trash Social Security. Though some forget, we are aware of credit card companies from Delaware that bring us debt without a limit who bought an office and put you in it. And now you are in Iowa with people asking, Iowa, what? And things are getting mighty raucous as we begin our party caucus. Straw polls at the high school dance. The last time that we took that chance, he couldn't keep it in his pants. I won't vote for you in the gym or not in any state you're in. I won't vote for you in the park. I won't vote for you after dark. I won't vote for you in the sun. I won't vote for you on the run. I won't vote for you anywhere, not even if you're over there. The truth is that despite the tokens, the Democratic Party's broken. It's hit an iceberg like the Titanic. When Bloomberg entered, I began to panic. He flooded the airwaves with TV ads from California to Islamabad. While part of me thinks he's not so bad, the other part thinks I've just been had. Egads. When at the polls they stop and frisk, I don't think I will take that risk. Or is it like the ship Poseidon steered upside down by old Joe Biden? Are we all just rearranging chairs before they tumble down the stairs? Do we get our news from Hollywood squares while searching for someone who cares? You may think that everyone's flirting with activities behind the Iron Curtain. What your son did in the Ukraine, some may think was a sin. But Hunter is a punter who just wanted to cash in. I know you point to Orange Nero, who in the mirror sees a hero, with MAGA hats and privilege born, rips through the land and leaves it torn. But before you lead us off a cliff, I'd rather vote for Adam Schiff. Republicans and Democrats both think they are such smarties, they've locked it down and fixed the game, so there are only two parties. Super delegates change the game. They all just want more of the same. The ballot boxes in the attic tell me it's not so democratic. When outsiders must win 60-40 and insiders just need Uncle Morty to make his moves on election night, to make the numbers turn out right. Pundits shout, too close to call. Outsiders shout, Rigo Ball. Now, I don't mean to sound obsessive. It's only that I think progressive, and though my lines are rather loose, I owe it all to Dr. Seuss. But I would not read you my Seuss run. I would not read it just for fun, not even if it had a pun about a $1 hot dog on a bun. I could go on, but wait a minute. There are 51 criminals in the Senate, and if their ways you don't eschew, perhaps you will make 52.
Smoking Joe.
So there is a feature documentary film up for, it's nominated for an Oscar, and it just won a BAFTA, and it's called For Sama, and it's about Aleppo. So I've written something about Aleppo. The city of Aleppo is 5,000 years old and larger than the city of Damascus. For centuries, it was the western terminus of the Silk Road to China. And in the summer of 2016, it became the center of resistance to Assad's iron rule. On September 8th, 2016, Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson was asked what he would do about Aleppo. His response was, "What's Aleppo?" Perhaps the following will provide a clue. Aleppo. "Just get it started," whispered the spy. "Who knows what tomorrow may bring? Just control some land, then we can come in and we'll support your Arab Spring. Whatever is wrong, we're gonna fix, 'cause no one can stop our SEAL Team 6. Now that I have your fixed attention, it may be time to mention the deception is the key to successful war. The fruit vendor set himself on fire while Egyptians gather to scream for bread. Corruption shows such an ugly head they'd rather resist and end up dead, and the state police are happy to oblige them. Idealists with paintbrush scrawls say they want Assad to fall. At least on university walls, the revolution sound its call. All around the university, his pictures are painted with black. Get rid of all fascists, they say, and take our country back. At night, on roofs and street corners, you could watch the people dance, and you didn't need a translator to figure out their chants. They shouted, "Here is Aleppo. Here is Aleppo. Here is Aleppo. And then once again, and once more, they wished for peaceful victory with no idea of what was in store. And oh, what tangled webs we weave when we direct the Judas goat who leads the lambs to slaughter across a poisoned boat. Deception is the key to war. No one but you should know the score. You say that you will help the poor, but they have no way of knowing. That spy with a smile, he's not thinking about you. He's thinking of what some people in Europe will do when 5 million people with different colored skin come knocking on the door and begging to come in. We may not be perfect, but there is no sin that you can call original. A river flowing through the city as the fighting in the streets get gritty becomes a sight that isn't pretty. Bodies get caught in iron grates, along with trash and paper plates sent from the other side that waits to send a message with some weight to those who once attacked the state are now not recognized as human. Helicopters dropping barrel bombs, the neighborhoods to crack, the fragments they fly everywhere to make up for the precision they lack. Was it an airstrike? Was it a tank shell? You can only tell the difference by the sound and by the smell. The man outside the laundrette was lighting up his cigarette, was blown to bits by Russian jets trying not to hit the minarets. They were aiming for the hospitals. The smoke's so thick it seems like night, but no one will give up the fight. The Russian jets are dropping bombs just like they did last week in Homs, and anywhere that took up the gun, they have the people on the run. But you cannot run. You can only fall when the tanks encircle all your walls and you happen to live in the city of Aleppo. A mother waits with her dead child. Her eyes are wild, her look is wide. He is my life. He is my son. Now look at him and what they've done. Her heart will not be reconciled. No one around can lift her grief. They offer to him, hold him, no matter how brief. She shouts, if you take him, you are a thief, and I will never forgive you. What? Are you filming this? Who will look into the abyss? Who will dare the snake to hiss or see what's left after death's kiss? You'd rather tune out into bliss than pay attention to things that matter. The European continent will take from the Middle East. The ones who are most different are the ones they want the least. They climb the walls and scale the gates. Meanwhile, reborn fascists wait to spread the fear and tap that hate. In broadcasts, they declare checkmate, as if this was a game that they were playing. Soldiers have their orders to shoot doctors without borders. And anyone else who gets in the way. Journalists and messengers resist. People in the world insist that such brutality should not exist. Now, there's a global war on you. Just like the turning of the screw, it's hard to know what's false or true when they control the airwaves. Wearing masks of righteous sanity, committing crimes against humanity. They control the news portrayal with no question of betrayal. We never thought that this could happen here. Abstract ideas that we hold dear, we plunged ahead and had no fear. But in the fog of war, there's one thing clear, that thought is not a weapon. From the Philippines out to Brazil, no despot hesitates to kill. The list of them keeps growing longer. As time goes by, they just get stronger. Ranchers set the jungles burning, hoping to increase their earnings. And even when a despot fails, the corporations still make the... And even when the despot falls, the corporations still make the calls. Projection screens behind thick walls and internet robot teams with automatic trawls, hoping to find a weakness. Deception is the key to war. There is no original sin. There is only what we are told and whether we choose to listen. Lines of suited congressmen with flag and eagle pins dance drills in tight formations, exchanging briefcases full of sins. They sit not in the jailer's dock, but as judges with their grins as they accuse the lambs who will all be led to slaughter. Preach democracy at home. preach democracy at home and betrayal abroad. With people fighting everywhere, it's easy to maraud. Stand near a flag on the TV set, it's easy to defraud. If any eyebrows raise at home, just say it's the will of God. While the rest of us stand with gaping jaw, they pin the medal of freedom on Rush Limbaugh. And I have to ask, how many streets can a child walk down before he is blown into dust? And how many lies can some people be told before they will no longer trust? We look to you, Sama, our name for the sky. Sky without fighters, sky without sun, sky without clouds, where we once had fun. The people who resisted here have nowhere left to hide. Whole families that once were strong now beg mercy from the other side. And in my dreams, George Washington just fell down on his knees and cried. But his cries will not be heard when coming from the city of Aleppo. Thank you. It's dedicated to Molly June Parvin.
Come on, Joseph, give it up. He knows. We're going to take a quick break, 5 minutes, and then we'll be back with the show. Schmooze, talk, manipulate, connive. No, not connive. No, don't do that. Okay, so hit the red square.